guys, this is Alfred Black Dice Gaming. So on this episode of Black Dice Basics, we're actually going to talk about the Barbarian class. So get your weapons ready, start your rage, and get ready to do battle. So let's start from the beginning, okay? And a Barbarian is a a class sort of like a fighter that has abilities based on rage and hit points. So in your case, you want to make sure that your rage is used in specific times because they're actually limited, and your hit points are high because it's not about blocking damage, it's about tanking it in. So make sure that you do everything you can to bring certain abilities up. Now, a Barbarian has the highest amount of hit dice, and that's a D12. That makes him hefty. That makes him take a little bit more damage than the rest of them, but that's fine. That's what he does. The proficiencies with armor, it is light and medium, and shields. That means there is no heavy armor. The proficiencies with weapons, though, is great. It is simple and martial, so that means that all weapons are usable. The saving throws. The proficiencies with your saving throws for a Barbarian obviously makes sense. It is strength and constitution. The next thing you can do when you're starting to make your Barbarian is you choose two proficiencies from a list that they give you. And the list is animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. So with that, now let's go ahead and get started to take a look as to what you get with your Barbarian. So let's start off with the first level, and that is when you get your rage and your unarmored defense. Yes, you get proficiency in armor, Barbarians, but without armor, you now can use 10 plus your dex plus your con. My suggestion is when you're creating a Barbarian as a class is that you focus your highest amount of points in Constitution. So important. The next thing you want to do, whether you're going to be a more agile Barbarian or a more strong Barbarian, is you want to put your second strongest points there. So whether it is strength or dex, make sure you put it in that one. The next one is obviously the second object. So if you have a constitution of +4, and that is actually a very high roll, and your strength is at a +2, and let's just say the other one is pretty close to it, at a +2. So now you're taking that 4, that 2, and that 10 for a total unarmored defense of 16. That is amazing, but here's the problem, guys. Once you put armor on, it goes away. So your AC of 16, you go ahead and put on some leather armor, and now your armor class has gone down to a 13. So make sure you're very careful as to what you want to do. We will actually have a issue talking about armor and weapons and how to select what is best for your character in future episodes. So please make sure you stay tuned to them. And let's see, so you get at your first level, you get rage. Rage gives you certain abilities that pump up your ability to resist damage. So now you're going to have the damage from slashing, bludgeoning, and piercing damage. That right there and then alone is amazing. You you have no idea how great it is to not just have a whole bunch of hit points, but now this person with this sword is only doing half the damage that it would normally do. That right there is a major output. And I do want to let you guys know that if you're looking for the Barbarian in the book, you're going to look in the chapter with the classes. It is the first one there. So that is what we will be looking at. Now also, with your rage, you get advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. Obviously, you're going insane. You're juicing up, bro. And so that's basically what you're going to do with that. You can't rage with heavy armor, just so that you know. That is something else that a lot of people do miss. I've actually missed it myself. When you make a weapon attack, you do gain a bonus, and that is called a rage bonus. It is located in that little chart that is under the Barbarians descriptor in the class section of the player's handbook. The next thing you gain at first level is you, other than your rage, is that unarmored defense, just like I mentioned. But let's go back to rage, because I do want to go ahead and just clear that out real fast. So at rage, you get a certain amount of rages per day. I think if I'm correct, it is a short rest. No, it is a long rest, actually. So you want to make sure you're very careful about how you use your rage. You get 2 rages per day at first level and second level. So from 3rd to 5th, that 2 per day now turns to 3 per day. And that goes from 3rd level to 5th. Once you become 6th level, now that 3 per day turns to 4, and that goes from 6th to 11th level. And once you become 12th level, the rages per day now turn to 5, and that goes from 12th to 16th level. Once you go 17th through 19th, it is now 6 per day. And at 20, if you make it that far, it's unlimited. Unlimited godlike power. It's awesome. So at level 2, you gain 2 more things. Reckless attack. Now, you're rolling with advantage for your attack, but your enemies, an attack using strength. Make sure you realize that. But where you're gaining that reckless attack and you're running into the field and you gain that advantage and you're able to smack down your foes, understand that your foes also have advantage. So it's kind of like a give and take. You want to make sure you're aware of that. The second thing you get is danger sense. It is not Spidey sense. You have to be able to see it coming. So if the wizard starts casting a spell and it has somatic components, you can see it coming. You can have certain advantages that come with it, and that is advantages for dexterity saving throws. A lot of people go, oh, well, it's an attack, I have danger sense. It is only for dexterity saving throws. So make sure that you're aware of that. You have to be able to see the trap, the spell, or whatever attack it is that is causing that throw. You have to see it coming. You do not gain that benefit if you're blinded, unconscious, or unaware of unaware or even surprised. At 3rd level, you gain your primal path. Now, in the future videos, we will also be talking about paths that the Barbarian takes. So keep your eyes open for that. We will actually go into great detail further on. At 4th level, you gain an ability score increase. Now, just so that you know, ability score increases usually happen at different times. This is where you can take 2 points and put it into one ability, 1 point and put it into 2 abilities, or you can actually decide to get a feat instead if your DM allows that option. If so, so many feats are going to be available to you. I will tell you to stay tuned for that, as well as we will also talk about feats. I will mention about where it is and what different books that they're located in, and I will also kind of let you know what my favorites are. We'll have a little bit of fun with that one. I'm going to see if maybe Tony is willing to walk in on that one, because I think that would be great. So your ability score improvements come at different levels, and that is 4, 8, 12, 16, and 19. So those are the times that you are able to bring your abilities up or get a feat. That's quite a few feats. So you're looking at 20th level having unlimited rage and 5 ability increases. 5 ability increases. If you just use the ability increase, you've now gone up 10 points. Wow. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next things that a barbarian gets. At 5th level, you gain an extra attack. So now you're doing multiple attacks, which is fantastic. A lot of the enemies in Dungeons and Dragons do have multi-attack, so that really does bring the combat economy down. The next thing that you do get at 7th level is you get something called feral instinct. Excuse me, as I'm talking bad. You get advantage on initiative. You can't be surprised, but it's only if you use rage on your first turn. So make sure you know that. If you do take that and you're using your feral instinct, you have to go into rage in order for that to actually stay in place. If not, you don't gain the advantage on your initiative. So please make sure that you know what you're doing on that one. So at 9th, you gain something called Brutal Critical. With Brutal Critical, now you have an extra die on your crit. If you're using a 1d10 weapon and you crit, now you're critting with 2d10. That's a lot of damage output, which is great. Remember again, guys, that a barbarian is more about tanking damage and hitting. It's more tank and spank than it is anything else. So you get 1 extra die to your critical at 9th. Once you get to 13th, that 1 turns to a 2. And when you get to 17th, that extra die on your critical turns to a massive 3. So now that 1d10 sword on a crit is doing 4d10 plus that crit damage. It's ridiculous amounts of damage. And that's great, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. The next thing you gain is at 11th level, you gain Relentless Rage. And Relentless Rage basically means if you drop to 0 hit points while you're raging, you don't die. You don't go down, you don't go unconscious, you just basically come back with 1 hit point. But you have to make a Constitution save of 10. Here's the thing, you drop again. You have to do a Constitution save, but now it's 15. It goes up by 5 every time, so you want to make sure that if you're in that situation that you dropped, you might want to start thinking about leaving the battlefield, because all it'll take is maybe a couple more hits and you won't get back up. So keep that in mind, guys. I still think that the Relentless Rage is fantastic. So please keep looking forward to that one and having a lot of fun with that one. The Persistent Rage is the next one, and you get that at 15th level. That means, just so that you know, when you rage, the only way you keep your rage going is if you attack or if you're damaged. So if you do not attack anyone and nobody hits you, your rage is going to stop. In this case, with persistent rage, now it only ends if you go unconscious or if you choose to drop it. Who's going to choose to drop it in the middle of the battlefield? I'd like to find out if anyone has an answer to that one. The next one you get is at 18th level, and that is Indomitable Might. So now, your strength score. Let's just say your strength score is a 17. And you roll. And the roll plus your modifier turns to a 15. And now you can take that strength score of 17 and put that instead of the 15 that you rolled. Wow. So now you're basically going to take away the chance of losing in a battle because it's hard to stop you from going. So now you're talking about rage that doesn't end, a might that just won't quit. By that time, you're already looking at the fact that you have 6 rages per day. You have that relentless attack where you have advantage, and at that time, really who cares if they have advantage over you, because you are literally one-shotting everything that you get your hands on. You're basically hulking up. So I think that is fantastic. Wow. The next one you get is you get Primal Champion. Now, just to let you know, when you're doing your points, not your modifier, but your actual points for abilities, the maximum you can go to is 20. Once you reach level 20 as a Barbarian, though, that changes. You get a +4 boost to your strength, a +4 boost to your constitution, and now your maximum for both of those are 24 instead of 20. Wow. You basically turn monstrous. I'll tell you right now, I actually have a campaign that I'm running right now, and it is Tyranny of Dragons, and I have a Barbarian. Let you know a little bit about the background on that is the Barbarian's character is a entertainer with the gladiator variant. A lot of people go, oh, gladiator, that's awesome, he's a fighter. I realized he maybe gets a proficiency in a weapon, but he still has acrobatics and performance. He's basically a professional wrestler. So that's basically what he is. I think it's fantastic. He uses the whole idea of being a wrestler and having promos and, calling out the bad guy, what you gonna do? That kind of stuff. It's fantastic. And then he rages and goes nuts. I have tons of fun watching him go. So that is how a character works. Make sure that, like I said, your background works with what you're doing. I can tell you right now that the Barbarian actually surprised me. I've never actually played a Barbarian before. I'm more of a fan of lighter, faster, and more stealthier creatures. So my class of choice has always been Rogue. But I'm actually interested in trying this out myself. This is amazing. So just so you know, the next time I get on, we're going to talk about the subclasses, or what they call here the primal paths. We're going to delve into the player's handbook, Xanathar's guide, a few other areas and guides that are given, and then I'm going to explain to you not just what they do, but tell you about my favorites. I did take time to read them, and I found that the Barbarian is not as one-sided as it used to be. So have fun, guys, with it. And just like I'm telling you to have fun, we have fun doing this. It's not just really hard to do, but it is really fun. And we can't do this without you. So smash that like button. Give us a comment. Give us a friendly word. Share it. Let other people know about us. Subscribe so that you can hear about new content that is coming without having to look into other avenues to find us. Those things will make it a lot easier for you to gain the information that we are giving you. Plus, we can't do this without the help of our patrons. It's very important that you take a look at Patreon, see what works with you. We even have a Discord. That means you can talk directly to us, and we have no problems doing that because it'll be fantastic. I would love to hear the thoughts that you guys have, and not only the thoughts that you guys have on that, but if you want to leave a comment about your specific experience as a barbarian, I would love to see what you guys have come up with in your campaigns, because the Barbarian in our group is fantastic and hilarious. So do that as well. Now, if you do have any ideas on content, we would love it if you actually were on our Discord so that we'd actually be able to hear about your content more. But we will actually try to keep a look at the comments as much as we can. And we usually try to answer pretty fast too. And guys, thank you so much for coming to see us. Stay tuned for the next one, and happy trails.